Welcome to Simply Robotics, the podcast, a podcast exploring the animation industry one episode at a time. I'm your host, Monique. You can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Robotics. When listening to the show, use the hashtag Simply Robotics Pod, SIMPLYROBOTIXPOD, to join in the conversation. So I'm going to say it's nice to be back. I feel like it's been a while. I hope you enjoyed my last episode where I talked about the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. This episode is going to be similar to a certain extent, where we are going to get into the details and, talk about what is the Toy Story franchise entity. I guess would be best. It's not a trilogy, and I don't know what the quadruple word would be to, for films and stuff like that. Maybe one of y'all know, y'all can tell me. But this episode is going to be a little bit different because it is a guest episode. So first off, I'm sure you noticed the time. It's not like 30 to 45 minutes. And second off, so I have my friend that he doesn't work in the animation industry. However, Toy Story is like one of his favorite animated entities of all time. So I thought that he would make a great guest to have come in and talk about all the episodes and, highs and lows and favorite moments and least favorite moments and characters and all that jazz. So, I'm kind of giving the whole episode away, but I think you're going to enjoy it. I really enjoyed the conversation. And, that's what this podcast is all about. It's not just about solely talking about industry things and having only guests that I worked with or people that worked on projects or work in the industry. It's about just having that dialogue, that conversation with people of color, with Black people, talking about animation and films like that because we're still, working on gaining more visibility and having more of a voice in this aspect too. So, I could probably ramble and go on forever, but let's just get into the episode. So, here we go. So, like I said, we have a guest today. Guest, would you mind introducing or saying your name and where you're from?
Absolutely. This is Jew, aka Jugatti from Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay,
What up,
and
what
I
up, what up?
felt I felt like it would be fun to have someone that wasn't working in the industry but still enjoys like animated cartoon stuff on the show. So that's my vision for it, and you're going to be the first person I have on and trying to just see how this works. And if you do good, then I'll have more friends on. So you kind of have to like hold it down for all my friends now.
So no pressure
Um
but pressure.
Oh, lots of pressure, most definitely, because like my coworkers and stuff are gonna be listening, so lots of pressure. So what I like to do with guests, or what I have done with guests before, is just also ask them as like a kind of icebreaker, your top three cartoons, so they could either be like TV shows or movies, or if you feel like you need to separate them and do three of each, you're more than welcome to do so.
Can I separate it? Because I got a
Yeah,
lot. Okay.
yeah, you sure can. So TV shows and movies
Alright, I'm gonna do
of all time,
all
your
time.
top three. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna do TV shows. That'd be easier. Top three TV shows of all time. First is gonna be no. First is gonna be Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold, my favorite one. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. It's one. Can I do 1A, 1B?
What?
I want to do 1A.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So 1A would be Hey Arnold, 1B would be Rugrats. I
Okay.
can't I
Okay.
can't divide them two. And my last one, I am leaning towards Looney Tunes. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Looney Tunes. I think when I
Looney
listen
Tunes.
back to this, I'm gonna just be like, oh man, I missed out on somebody. But I'm gonna go with those three for right now.
Okay, so like
And
Looney Tunes, like
but
old school, like Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig and stuff.
yeah, all of them. And the baby Looney
Okay.
Tunes. I used to watch baby Looney Tunes a lot, especially when I was off from school. They was mad adorable.
When they're actual babies,
Yeah, when they're
not
actual
like Tiny
babies.
Toons.
No, not them. The baby babies.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And so, do you have movies too, or you don't want to do
Yeah,
movies?
we can do movies. Let's see. Animated top three animated movies.
That you can watch
I
again and
am
again, or like word for word type of thing.
I know word for word. Okay. So number number three. I go number three. Number three be Lion King. I think that's a safe pick. It was very fun.
It's
I
pretty
think Timon and
safe.
Pumbaa stole the show. Yeah, very
Just
safe.
the
Timon and
season.
Pumbaa. And oh, okay. Small Soldiers. I love that movie.
That's not. It's not really
Yeah,
animated. It has
that's why I was
animated
like,
elements.
yeah, that's why I was like, I did like how they was going. Okay, let's scratch Small Soldiers off. Okay, no. Oh, there's a lot. There's so many good ones. There's a lot of good. Madagascar. Can I do Madagascar? Of course I can do
Yeah, yeah, you
Madagascar.
can. That's animated.
Madagascar is number two, and without a doubt, Toy Story is my number one, like hands down.
Okay. I
The
think
franchise.
that's very interesting that you say Madagascar because I feel like no one ever mentions that when they talk about like top 3 animated films or like not even top 3 but like your favorite animated films. I'm like very surprised why Madagascar?
I just think I like the dialogue a lot. I think it was very funny dialogue, and I like the plot. It was a dope plot. And is that the Smiling
Did you
Wave? That's Smiling Wave boys, right? The penguins, right? Is that
yes.
Madagascar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's
Those
what
are
I was
my
gonna ask you
absolute
next. Like,
favorite.
did you watch like all I think they had 3 movies and at least I think the Penguins they had their own TV show actually, I think.
Yeah, the penguins had a spinoff. I never got into it, but I'm very proud of them for growing up and glowing up like that
You did mention that Toy Story is like your number one,
easily.
and that's why I felt like you would be a good person to have this conversation with because Toy Story is still happening. We grew up basically with Toy Story. The
Hmm.
first Toy Story came out in 1995 in November. I was in first grade. I did not see it in theaters. I probably saw it in after school now that I think about it. But
Hmm.
Toy Story, I feel like it's always like been a part of my life. So I was like, let me just like think of a friend and maybe just have someone to come and just like recount, take like a stroll down memory lane and talk about Toy Story. So if there's anyone
Oh,
out in the world that's never seen any Toy Story, then this episode's for you. We're gonna recap all episodes or all the movies. It's not a episodic type of thing.
hmm.
And so first off, the first Toy Story, it's with Andy, who's a kid. He gets a new toy, Buzz Lightyear, who's like this space guy. And it
Hmm.
causes his sheriff cowboy toy Woody to become really insecure and basically Woody kind of like tosses but he didn't toss him but he
Yeah, essentially he
he
did.
he makes it so that Buzz like falls out the window and gets like lost evidently or whatever. And now all the toys, the other toys that Andy has, they like hate Buzz and Woody. They hate Woody, excuse me. And then Woody's trying to like fix everything, make himself look like the good guy again, and everything works out in the end. Let's just say they get reunited. Andy's happy he has Buzz and he has Woody. There is a kid named Sid who treats toys horribly. I was definitely horribly is probably an understatement, right?
It's definitely an understatement. He tortured those toys.
Yeah, he did. And I was very afraid of Sid's toys. Like I remember being very creeped out. And since you mentioned small soldiers, I feel like for me, I was definitely like overstimulated between Toy Story, Small Soldiers, and Chucky. Like I just felt like I
That
did
was a
not
lot going on in the late
I didn't want
'90s
any
for toys.
toys. Yeah, because now like when you're not looking, all your toys are moving and it just like I couldn't handle it as a kid. It was stressful. So from the first Toy Story movie, do you have any memorable moments?
Memorable moments. I like the end scene when they had to get on the U-Haul, so they cranked the little VR RC thing when they put
Yeah,
the fire
the
pack
race
on there.
car.
Yeah, I actually got the little what's them toys called? The
I
pop
think
no,
it's
what's
an
them toys
RC
called?
car or
Nah,
something
just
like that.
RC. Yeah, it's the RC
RC?
car. I'm talking about the new toys that come out now that people collect the poppable pop.
Oh, the Funko Pops?
Oh yeah, Funko Pop. Okay, yeah, I have a Funko Pop of the RC car and Woody
Nice.
on there. So that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite moments. The like you said, what's his name? Sid.
Yeah,
Sid.
Sid.
Sid's house was a lot. It was a lot going on. But when they finally escaped, that actually was very heartwarming. Another thing that kind of upset me was when Woody was trying to be back in their good graces and they didn't believe
Mhm.
him, so so they had the strong man throw him out.
Yeah, they
That,
they got him out of here.
yeah, they got him out the paint. Yeah, rightfully so, because he was kind of wild. But those are my three that stick out.
One thing that stuck out for me or memorable moment would be when they were trying to convince or when Woody was trying to convince Buzz that like he was a toy and he wasn't actually like who he thought he was.
Uh-huh.
And I remember as a kid just thinking that that was like actually kind of interesting that your toys could be living like their like life story and not like the story you pretend when you're playing with them. Like I was a very like I had like soap operas when it came to my toys. My cousin Veronica and I probably have her on when we were like playing with our Barbies and toys like that. It was like definitely like soap opera drama, and just to think that your toys kind of maybe have their own narrative, but you're now saying as adult you're projecting onto them. I was like, wow, what if my toys really thought like they were I had one Barbie, I think she was like, I don't know, a rescue, like she came with a seal, so I don't know what she was does. She was like aquatic. And she had this like very nice like scuba suit type of thing, and like, oh, maybe she was like, rescuing sea life or something, and that's who she thought she was. But like, she's my only Asian Barbie, so I'm really stereotyping her like as a kid, probably making her play with Mulan or something like that. And I was just like, I think about that again. I think about Sid's house and thinking
That
about
was
this
a
kind
lot.
of like how creepy and scary all that stuff was, because he had that doll head on this like robotic tarantula type of device,
Yeah,
and
the
that
baby on the yeah, he was definitely a serial killer. He
that I
definitely grew up to
remember
be a
just
serial
being
killer.
slightly like shook by that. And the same scene that you mentioned when they were like heading to the U-Haul at the end, I thought that was pretty cool, and just like racing it, and the whole like, you're not flying, you're falling with style. I was like, oh, that's kind of nice.
That's a fire quote too.
Yeah, right.
They have a lot of quotables in Toy Story. I'll give them that.
The whole franchise actually.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you
Absolutely.
have a favorite character from the first movie?
Oh, easily. Slinky Dog. I love Slinky Dog and everything about him.
Why?
Cause it's a first it's a dog. I'm a avid dog lover, and then his accent just is hilarious. Like he's a Southern dog? I assume he
I
sounds like
think
he's from Texas anyway.
he does
You
sound
don't
like
think
he's
so?
from the South now I think about it.
He's
Um,
definitely a Southern dog.
I wanted to call him sassy, but he definitely has a little bit of spice to him.
He's a little snazzy. Definitely a
Yeah.
little snazzy, but he's very versatile too.
What do you mean?
As in, he can be utilized in so many ways because he's a slinky. So you could use him to get things, go from house to house. Remember they was trying to get Buzz from the other side, so
Yeah,
they
I
kept
feel
using Slinky Dog.
he's been very resourceful throughout the movies.
He has,
Yeah,
and he's underappreciated.
most definitely.
Yeah, we need
I
justice for
I can
Slinky.
like easily forget about him. Sorry.
Ouch. I mean, ouch.
The my would they be memorable character? I don't know my favorite, but in the first Toy Story, I definitely liked Bo Peep. I just thought she was interesting, and I did kind of want more from her.
Hmm.
And I think that was probably the one I just like gravitated to. I just thought she was interesting. She seemed like a toy that, or she was like a lamp or whatever. Seemed like something I would have had. I just like didn't have it.
Bo Peep. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see you having that actually.
yeah, but I didn't. So blame my dad.
Did you have any Toy Story toys?
You know what? That's actually one of our later questions, so
Oh,
we're
okay,
gonna keep
okay,
it
all right,
moving.
cool. My bad.
So, Toy Story 2. Truth be told, this is probably my least favorite one from the franchise. I actually tried to rewatch it because I didn't remember that much about it, and I couldn't even finish. I was just like, I have other stuff to do. I should probably start doing that. So,
I agree. It's very forgettable. Toy Story
Toy
2.
Story 2, right?
Yeah, it's very forgettable.
Yeah. So what happens in Toy Story 2 is that Woody gets stolen at a yard sale by this toy collector called Al McWiggin. That's his
Man,
name. I
this is
never
crazy.
remember his last name. So Buzz and the other toys, other Andy toys, they go to save Woody from I does he have a toy store, right? Is that where he is?
Yeah, he's a Toy Story. Hmm.
Right. So they go to save him from there. And during this whole time, Woody's like learning his actual backstory, which is also interesting. Like, how didn't he know who he was? Like, was he passed down to Andy or something like that? So I don't know. I just thought of
So
that as we're talking.
yeah, you're right. I mean, your aquatic toy probably didn't know his background story either. Thought it was just Milan.
Maybe. I don't know. But I'm just like, I'm thinking about the show. Like, everybody kind of knew who they were, but like Woody, now I think about it.
Now I gotta go back and think. Yeah, you might be right.
No, well, like I said, I did start watching it, and he was very amazed at like how much memorabilia and stuff like that there was surrounding him, because he was like
Hmm.
Andy's oldest toy, so he's used to all the new toys coming in, and they're like unboxing and stuff like that. And I wonder why he doesn't. Well, I guess according to the
You know
second
what's
movie, it also seemed like Woody was like an older toy. That's why I said he was probably like passed down. Hmm.
hmm
Interesting. Anywho, so do you have any memorable moments from Toy Story 2?
the most memorable moment from Toy Story 2 is when he fixes Woody back up. Like when he
Mm,
gets him all cleaned up, puts his arm back on, shines his eyes up, cleans his boot. It was kind of devastating that he drew over the Andy
yeah.
mark on his thing. But that
Mhm.
was a really nice scene to look at. I don't know, it was weird, pleasing scene, if you will.
For me, the
And had
most
him all
memorable
shined up.
scene was when Jessie was telling like her story, or they had like that musical number, and she was like playing with her girl. And I feel like I didn't get up to this part rewatching it, but like the girl left her like by a tree or something.
Mhm.
But it would seem like it was by accident, but I felt very, very bad because again, like connecting with myself, I've lost a toy, and I was like, damn, that's probably how my toy felt. And I still like it was a Little Mermaid doll, and my aunt's car got stolen, and the doll was in the car. I was so sad because I knew I should have took it with me, but like you don't want to get yelled at.
Yeah.
And
Forget about the car being stolen. You just don't have your toy back.
yeah, well, I was a kid, so like, that was my big problem was like, now I'm never gonna get the Little Mermaid toy ever again. But I just felt really bad for Jessie, and I was like, damn, like she thinks like her girl like abandoned her, and like like she'll never be loved again. And I remember thinking that song was also really, really nice. Like I can't remember how it goes or anything like that, but I did enjoy that moment. Did you have a
Mhm.
favorite character from Toy Story 2?
Toy Story 2, the person that stuck out is Bullseye. Bullseye the horse.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a horse, but he kind of act like a dog, which is
I
probably
can
why.
totally see that.
Yeah, it was probably why I like him. But he was very loyal. He was a very loyal dog slash horse thingy. So he rode for Jesse, and then in the later time, he actually rides for Woody. So I like him.
Yeah, I'm
Very
gonna
loyal
have
guy.
to agree with you with Bullseye because I felt like he was just a nice addition.
He was.
Right? None of the characters were really like him, so that allowed him to kind of like stand out.
Mm-hmm. Can I do a least favorite character on Toy Story 2?
Oh,
Characters.
sure. Yeah. What's your least favorite character?
I wasn't the biggest fan of Zurg, Emperor Zurg,
Mm. Yeah.
the little alien kind of toy thing. I don't know. He just wasn't that good of a villain to me.
And he wasn't the villain. I mean, like he's
What?
like Buzz's villain, but he wasn't the villain of the movie
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I think Buzz deserved a better villain than that.
in general.
Yeah, in general.
That's valid, but it's
I'm
not
not a fan
about
of him.
Buzz. But I think did he? Because they did. Was it? They did like a couple specials, and I feel like he was in one of the specials.
He was. I don't remember which one. I don't think it was the. Was it the Halloween one?
It could have
Might have been
been.
the Halloween one.
Yeah,
I don't want to get the line on your podcast though.
I
So.
know. Well, I'm not doing a much better job because I can't tell you what it was. Um, so Toy Story 3, that one came out in 2010 and it was almost 11 years
Oh
after
man.
Toy Story 2. So I remember thinking first like why are they doing this? But I was like, you know what? It's trilogies are like a big thing, and to tie up the story, one movie's the beginning, the second movie's the middle, third movie's the end. Cool. Do what you got to do.
Hmm.
So, in case anybody out there that's listening hasn't seen Toy Story 3, which I think would still be preposterous, I'm gonna tell you what
It
it's about.
would be.
At this point, I feel like almost everybody's seen Toys. I don't see. I would like to actually talk to someone who hasn't seen it and also maybe has no desire to see Toy Story, or if they saw
I,
the first one, they don't want to see the rest or something like that. That would be an interesting conversation to have.
that'd be devastating to find out.
You would be devastated, of course. Yeah,
I would be devastated.
I just would want to know why you're not interested in seeing them. But
Exactly.
anywho, Toy Story 3. So what happens? The toys get accidentally dropped off at a daycare center while Andy's getting ready to go to college. The toys discover that the toys in the daycare are ruled by this stuffed bear. He's a bear named Lotso. Um,
Lasso Huggins. I love his name.
and so Woody finds a potential home for the toys with this little girl named Bonnie. She's super cute and she takes really, really good care of her toys. I think that covers just about everything. I remember when I learned that Toy Story 3, that they were actually advancing with Andy in his growing up. I thought that was pretty cool because at this time I was a junior in college. So I was like, oh, he's getting ready to go to college. And it's like, we're like continuing to grow along with the story.
Hmm.
And I felt like it was also pretty relatable into the fact that as you get older, you stop playing with your toys. You turn to video games or like, school, dating, whatever, jobs. So I kind of liked how they were trying to find like the whole finding a new home for these toys where they'll still be like appreciated and still getting played with.
Hmm.
I haven't kept all my toys, but I did keep some of my favorite ones, and I was like, damn, they're just in a bin in storage because I don't want to
Just
give them
chilling.
away. But but I guess that's the life of a toy. So with Toy Story 3, did you have any memorable moments?
I did. I had a whole lot of memorable moments. I want to preface this by saying Toy Story 3 came out the summer before I went to college, so it resonate. This
Oh,
whole yeah, this whole thing resonated a whole lot with me.
dang, were you thinking about your toys in storage?
Yeah, I actually brought my Garfield teddy bear with me to college. I used to sleep with him my freshman year.
What kind of teddy bear?
Garfield's my all-time favorite cartoon character.
Oh, that should have been mentioned.
I shoulda.
Starting off your memorable moments of Toy Story 3.
Okay, memorable moments of Toy Story 3. I'm gonna have a couple of them. So the first, it's not in order, but the first one is at the end when he gives Bonnie his toy, and then she sees Woody, and he kind of just hesitates for a second because he don't really want to give him away. That touched that pulled at my heartstrings. That just pulled at my heartstrings. It was like
Why?
because, like I said, it was like the end of my childhood, and when he gave him away, it was like, wow, I'm not a kid anymore. So it kind of just was right there with me. Like, wow, maybe I do got to grow up as well. Even though, like I said, I bought my Garfield teddy bear. But anyway, that was one of my favorite ones, favorite moments. Another one is when when towards the end when they're going towards the fire and they kind of all just stop, give up. I think it was Slinky Dog that was still fighting to the end, and then Woody held his hand out like, "It's okay, it's okay. We had a good life." That joint was crazy. When
Yeah.
I tell you that joint was, I'm on the edge of my feet. Like, yo, that was wild. And Spanish Buzz, he was a whole freak, and he was just wilding out. So that Spanish mode was activated. It was on and popping. So that's my guy. I like him. Shout out to Spanish
That actually I
Buzz.
think was a nice just like random like twist or whatever, just making them activate or accidentally switch him to Spanish. Like what?
And then he thought Woody was. I think he thought Woody was making a pass at Jesse, and he
Yeah.
wasn't with none of that. So yeah,
He was super protective of her.
fight for your girl, my man.
Do
Very protective.
you have any other
Yeah.
moments?
Do I have any other moments? When the when the toys get to the daycare at first, and they see that these kids are wilding, like the little girl, she licked
Mm-hmm.
Buzz and threw the dinosaur and dipped Jesse in the paint. That was kind of scary
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, yeah, these kids are bad vibes. All them kids were bad vibes. Nah, I couldn't
They
couldn't
were
deal.
yeah, they were a little reckless. One of well, you mentioned it, which was when they were like in the incinerator or whatever, however you pronounce that word. When yeah, they were all like
Incinerator.
yeah, holding hands. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, one, I know they're not about to let these toys burn. Because Pixar still needs to make like, stuff with them. So they're not gonna do that. But I was definitely like feeling a tearjerker, like, damn, it's about to be over for these toys. Um
That'd be a wild ending. Just all the toys just burning up, and then they
yeah.
go to the credits. That would have been wild.
Maybe if this was like happening in a small soldiers universe, that would happen. But
Yeah, it probably would happen. Yeah.
yeah, another part that I really liked was yeah, when they I think when they first got to Bonnie and they were starting to meet Bonnie's toys and there was that one that was like into Shakespeare or something like that, the porcupine, and they
Mm-hmm.
had that he had like a unicorn. She had a unicorn toy too. So anyways, I just was liking Bonnie's toys and being
Mm-hmm.
in Bonnie's room. And I also liked we got the Barbie and Ken dynamic in there, and
Mm-hmm.
Ken was pretty
That was
funny.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had mad drip though. I give him that. His closet was like that.
I can totally see you liking his wardrobe and probably pulling a few pieces out for
I
yourself.
I would definitely use half that wardrobe easily.
um, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character, I think Barney was so adorable. She was a very adorable little girl. So she definitely was a nice little piece. I liked, what was his name? The clown. What was his name? Happy or something like that?
Oh, was this
The
was Lon on Lotso's side, right? No?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he was happy at first, and then
Yeah.
yeah, he was funny. Finally getting a smile out of him at the end was very heartwarming. Let me see who else. The soldiers. I think the soldiers was cool because they realized that their time was up. They said, "Hey man, when they get rid of toys, the soldiers are always the first ones to go." So it's been real serving you, Woody. They accepted their fate. They ain't try to fight it or trying to force it. Like, oh no, we still gonna be played with. Cause come on, nobody use small soldiers like that.
Did you have like
So they
soldiers? Did you have like G and Joe and stuff like that?
I did have soldiers. I did, and they literally got thrown out the first time that I had a chance. So I understand where they're coming from. So yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think that's my.
Um.
Oh, the dog too. So Andy's
Oh, because he
dog,
got old, right?
Buster. What's his name, Buster?
Uh.
Yeah, he got real old,
Yeah.
so couldn't use him no more.
Who was my favorite character? I think Bonnie.
Barney was adorable.
Yeah, she was just really adorable. I don't know if there was a favorite character. The baby kind of scared me, but its story was kind of sad. They were all together, right, in the same house.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then Lotso, yeah, Lotso got mad and just brainwashed
I
him.
kind of think, to a certain extent, most baby dolls are also the first to go.
You think
Yeah,
so?
most of my
Well, I
like
never had a baby
baby
doll, bro.
dolls I didn't keep, but the ones that actually like had hair I can brush and stuff like that, and could wear non-baby clothes, like dresses and stuff like that, those lasted longer, but the
Mhm.
type of babies that came with, like, a legit bottle, I didn't have those for too long. Be
And the milk would disappear randomly. It's
Yeah, and I
weird.
also feel like as a girl, I think you get a lot of baby dolls, like legit babies, so it's very easy for you to just kinda toss one because you get a new one. But, we're not gonna get into all of that because we're gonna move on to Toy Story 4, which came out,
Oh,
about a month ago, which was 9 years after Toy Story 3 and more than 20 years
damn.
after the first Toy Story, right? Did you
Jeez, yeah, 24 years.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy when you put it in perspective like that.
And I'm like, I just wonder how many people who worked on the first Toy Story, worked on all of them. And
You think it's a lot,
no, no, it's
or
probably not a lot
you don't think
anymore.
so?
But I do know some
Wow.
people that, grew up watching Toy Story did get the opportunity to work on the fourth one. And it was a really amazing experience for them to have like grown up with this thing and these characters. And now they're getting to like
Mm-hmm.
animate them. And I'm like, oh, that's like heartwarming. And like, I'm happy you had that
It is.
experience. So did you have any expectations for Toy
Yeah,
Story
that's dope.
4?
Honestly, when I first seen the what's the thing's called, the preview of it, I didn't know where it was going at. I had no idea. But since I'm such an avid Toy Story fan, I was gonna go see it regardless.
Do you recall which trailer that was? Or, like, what you saw that made you feel like, "What's this about to be?"
It was the very first. Well, I don't know the order, but when I seen Forky and I seen the bears, I'm like, I don't get where it's going at.
Mhm.
Then I seen the carnival. I was lost at to the direction of it, but I'm loyal to my soil, so I was going to support it regardless. I had no expectations.
So then once you started seeing the more, like, informative trailers, did that, like, help you wanna see the movie more?
Not really. I was When I heard Toy Story 4, I was already for it. But the trailers, none of the trailers really made that much sense to me. Honestly, I really had no idea because he went to college. I was like, is Andy gonna come back? Or is Bonnie gonna be grown? I didn't know where it was going at,
Right.
so it didn't really help at all.
Yeah, I feel like I saw all the trailers, um, but I kinda feel like I don't remember anything from it. I knew that I was gonna see it anyway, 'cause, Pixar movies for, I guess, like, the last 10 years, they come out around my birthday, so it's like a personal tradition that I go see one, so even if I'm not interested, I just go see it. But I was like, "I don't want this." Like, I really was, vocal about how much I didn't want Toy Story 4, and
Oh, we
yeah,
know. Trust me, we
they
know.
don't know, but I really was like, "I'm not with it," because we have 3 movies. Again, this is, like, almost 10 years since the last movie. I felt like Toy Story 3 really tied up all the loose ends with the fact that they're in a new home, they're being played with, we know that they're safe and taken care of and all sorts of stuff like this. Why are you having a fourth
Right.
movie? What are you guys gonna do and talk about? So the only thing I expected from this, I was like, someone has to get like broken for real, for real. Someone has to get
Oh my
lost.
god.
Yeah, I was very dark. I'm like, someone has to get like lost, like seriously lost, or like I don't know, because why else would you bring this or pick this story back up if not to have something really dramatic or drastic or different happen? Like, were they gonna go to a new kid, or what? Was Bonnie gonna have to like move to another country and she can't take all these toys with her or something? Like, why are you guys picking up this
Hmm.
story again? I mean, at this point, whoever's listening to this should have watched Toy Story 4. If you haven't, then this is gonna be a
I
a
hope so.
relative spoiler because we're gonna talk about it like we've talked about the other movies. Would you want to do the honors of recapping Toy Story 4?
I sure would. So, Toy Story 4 pretty much is Bonnie's family goes on a road trip and they end up, I think something happened with their car, flat tire, something like that. End up at a carnival. They go to this carnival and then they go to this weird antique shop, Bo Peep. They get reunited with Bo Peep and Bonnie makes this toy, not really a toy, kind of a toy. It is a toy called Forky at pre-K that helps her get through her day. And he kind of just he kind of wilds out and gets lost. So the team has to the team has to find him and get him back safely to Bonnie. And essentially that's what it is.
Okay, so for the spoiler parts, is like you said, they do reunite with Bo Peep, and through all of
And she's
this,
a rebel.
there is a doll in the antique shop named Gabby Gabby who has never
Hmm.
been. Gosh, I'm trying to think of how to put it. She's never like been someone's toy before. So she realizes that Woody has something she wants, tries to get it from Woody, all sorts of stuff. Woody and Forky almost get like left, whatever. Then everybody gets reunited. Bo Peep tells Woody, like, he kind of experiences the joy of being a lost toy. Basically, Bo has been lost. That's why we haven't seen her in a couple movies. And
Hmm.
Woody decides to stay with Bo Peep and whatever in this carnival and not go back with Bonnie. And I get my satisfaction low key of someone getting lost. It wasn't as dramatic as I wanted, but I think that just now having separated the group, I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
that's fine. I can live with that because it's like, why are you going to bring everybody back together if someone doesn't get lost? But I thought it was kind of wild too that like Bonnie didn't even notice when in the beginning Bonnie was like so about Woody,
Hmm.
and
She really was. It was all
yeah,
funny.
she doesn't even notice. So yeah, Forky is a a very very wild character. um who's your favorite character from Toy Story 4?
Easily those bears from the carnival. I think it was a bear and a bird. I don't know. The ones that was the
Oh,
little
okay.
carnival prizes.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like sewn at the hand or something like that.
Wait, no, I don't think they were saw at the hand.
They were connected though.
Were
Yeah,
they really? I didn't
the
even
whole
know that.
time they were connected.
I did not know
That's
that.
funny.
Yeah, they were some wild boys. They and their and their plots and how they planned on getting that grandma. It was very
They
extreme.
were extreme definitely is the appropriate
Yeah,
word. They were definitely wild. I have their names were Ducky and Bunny. I mean, it would be like the
Ducky and Bunny.
smallest thing and they would have this grand scheme involving like guns and like tying up people, putting like tape over them. Like just like the it's like we don't
Like the whole
yeah, we
nine.
don't have
They was
to do
very
all of
thorough
that
with theirs.
actually. Could just turn it down a couple notches. But they were pretty funny. Who's there was another new character. His name was Duke Kaboom. I believe he was
Duke Kaboom.
voiced by I'm blanking. What's his name? Keanu Reeves. Yeah, yeah, he was.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was.
He was voiced by
Oh,
him. What do you think about him?
Duke Kaboom. He was. I liked him. His little stunt at the end. It was good because I was rooting for him the whole time because he wasn't getting it together in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but he saved the day. So I like it, and he has a cool name though. Toy Story has some characters with some really cool names.
Yeah.
They think their
Right,
names
I was about
out.
to say you could tell that they put a lot of like planning and thought into a lot of these things, a lot of the characters' names. What were some of your favorite or most memorable moments from Toy Story 4?
From Toy Story 4, I'm definitely gonna go with just seeing Ducky and Bunny's plans try to
Hmm.
manifest. Especially when they tried to get the grandma and they jumped on her face and then they hit their head in her house until she went to sleep and it was wild the thing that they thought
Yeah,
of.
they are definitely a little
And
violent.
yeah, they was a little violent. But I mean they was in the carnival their whole life, so they had a lot of time to think
Hmm.
and whatnot. Also when they try I can go back to Ducky and Bunny when they were trying to beat up Buzz while he was up there, trying to get some kicks in on him. So that was pretty good. And Buzz Lightyear's inner voice. That was funny. I think that was a funny little touch.
Yeah.
When he used the inner voice to find out how to go and navigate things. That was fun too.
And he had a button. What was right?
Hmm.
What was the button?
Yeah, here's a button that he kept pressing. Just the red button on his chest. He just
Oh,
keep pressing that until he got the
right.
answer he wanted.
Yes, yes, that button. It's all coming back to me now. One memorable moment for me was in the antique shop. Those like puppets.
It was creepy.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, like I was so I was so like tense, and I was like, please, like I can't. I need them
It
off
was
the
very
screen.
creepy.
I can't remember what it was, but I definitely was so close to jumping and I caught myself. I think it was just like they like had turned their heads real quick or something. I can't remember, but I did not like them at all. And it's not
I wasn't a
happy
fan.
memories I have of them. Like definitely if I was a child, that would have creeped me out so much. The animation was very good on them though because they moved
It
just
was
like the
really
puppets.
good.
Yeah, and the whole like eyes blinking and being very creepy. Another memorable moment would be like Bo Peep. she was like pretty dynamic in terms of like she had her cane and she was like doing like all these different tricks with them and like flipping.
Yeah, she was a rebel.
Yeah, and I was like, who knew Bo Peep was like low key like a badass? Like who knew that? Did I
Yeah, and then she like she had to be like 65 years old.
probably. Another oh, did I talk about favorite characters? No. I think Forky actually is my favorite character.
You like Forky? Wow,
I don't think
Forky was weird.
it's not like I want my own, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got my own like Forky something. But I just found him to be very funny. And I was very like every time he was on the screen, I was very interested in whatever he was gonna do because listeners, Forky did not want to be a toy at all. He was like, I'm trash. And that alone was
Really,
actually
at
kind of
all.
funny. For this character to keep saying, like, I'm trash, I'm trash. And then he was definitely
Hmm.
just like if you have basically a toddler and you go to like, I don't know, like Sesame Place or something like that, and they're just like you can't control them. They're just kind of running away, doing their own thing and
Oh my god, yeah.
you're trying to just like keep tabs
Oh,
on Forky, and Forky is just trying to, get to the garbage, whatever. And I just found myself constantly being amused by him and his erratic behavior. Don't be surprised, I'm telling you
yeah,
for real, if
Forky
you
was
see
off
me
his
like in a t-shirt with Forky on it or something.
ass.
I'm here for him.
Forky was off his ass,
Yeah, he
man.
he,
He
he
was off
was. So what are some of your final thoughts on Toy Story as a whole, like all four movies as a franchise?
as a franchise. It's the greatest franchise I've ever watched.
Animated or
Definitely the
just in
greatest anime
general? Really?
all time, all time
That's
greatest movies
that's
ever.
that's pretty
Yeah, I love Toy Story. I love it.
high because, there's like The Dark Knight, there's Harry Potter,
Mm-mm.
there's like Lord of the Rings,
Nope.
there's
Mm-mm.
Ninja Turtles.
No, just Toy Story.
Wow.
Toy Story's at the top. Everything else right underneath of it.
Okay.
But no, I do love it. It was very good. I feel it just defined my whole childhood. Like I would try to stay up to see if my toys would move and get and do whatever they do when I was younger. I never stayed up long enough to see it, but I always wanted to see what they
That's
did when I went
crazy.
to sleep. But nah, I really love Toy Story. I would get a Toy Story tattoo. I might do
I
that.
could I could see that. What do you think it would
I
be?
might. I don't know. Maybe Buzz.
Oh,
Oh, I actually don't know. I might have to Google some Toy Story tattoos. Actually, now I think
yeah.
about it.
Doesn't Buzz have like a logo or something?
Mhm.
Right? Maybe. Um,
Yeah, he does. He does have one
So my final
tattoo.
thoughts on the franchise, I honestly, I just hope that they don't make any more movies because even with now this, I still think it's very complete. Like I even feel like with each movie, it's kind of like they didn't have to do more, but you were still kind of like okay with the fact that they did.
Hmm.
Each movie is very like self-contained, even though
Yeah, yeah, I'll give you that.
it helps to know or haven't seen some of the previous movies. I don't feel like you need to see any previous movie to know what's happening. Like each movie is pretty self-contained experience. I don't know
That's very true.
what other I also think it set a precedent in terms of I'm gonna use the word trilogies and like animated trilogies for the sense that you have like three How to Train Your Dragons, you have three Madagascars, you have three Kung Fu Pandas.
Hmm.
I feel like so many movies,
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah, have sequels because of like Toy Story's successful storytelling, regardless of if they should or shouldn't have them.
Hmm.
But they definitely, besides being like the first, 3D animated film and all that like nerd stuff or whatever, they definitely set a bar for storytelling and like not treating children like they are not capable in understanding what's happening. Like, like actually having stuff that's entertaining for children and entertaining for like adults at the same time. I think they were very good at that.
Hmm.
And I think it was just pretty solid, like overall. Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. I still, like I said, don't want any more movies. I think they can stick with just their spin-offs and stuff like that. I also made a note here that in all throughout the Toy Story movies, you can see just like how they were really advancing with their technology and visual style too, in the sense that in watching Toy Story 2,
Hmm.
after seeing Toy Story 4, I was just like, wow, like the animation is really like 100 times better in terms of them pushing it and just looking how like the mouths were moving compared to Toy Story 4, they
Yes.
were moving a lot better. The colors were looking a lot better. I know it's always been like a challenge for Pixar, at least in the first two movies, were just to solidify like how humans looked and not making them look so scary and stuff like that. And you can definitely compare like how cute Bonnie looks with kind of how cute Andy didn't really look as a kid, you know? Like they really pushed themselves with terms of character design.
He was.
Andy wasn't a cute kid, sorry. I'm not to say that he was ugly, but like
He was.
the character design, it wasn't as cute as
His
Bonnie.
sister was kind of cute. If that counts.
Um, kinda, but she wasn't as cute as Bonnie. Like they really got like the appeal down when it came to Bonnie. Even Andy as like a kid going well, I'm calling him a kid, a teenager going off to college, you can tell they got better with the technology comparing to when he was a kid, when he
Hmm.
first got Buzz. And yeah, I feel like too the way in Toy Story 4 how they let a lot of characters shine and like their personalities come through. That's something that they always did throughout the franchise. Like we got to always have a sense of Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head and Slinky and Rex and all that sort of stuff. And even Bonnie's toys, we got a good
Right.
personality for like everybody. I just remembered Bonnie had like a girl dinosaur too. I think her name was Trixie. And
Yeah, she
yeah,
did.
so like
Yeah, Trixie. It was Trixie. It was Trixie.
and so we got to see like some of her personality too. So I think as a film studio or like a crew or whatever, they did like a really good job in a lot of those different things. So moving on, I have two games for you, right?
Okay, can I say one thing about another thing about Toy Story 4 that was sad that Mr. Potato Head didn't have that many lines, and I didn't realize the voice actor of Potato Head died before that movie
Mm-hmm.
finished.
R.I.P. to him.
So they just used old they just used old RP down used old sound bites of him. So I was confused by that because I didn't know it when I was watching the
Yeah,
movie,
I
but
found out after the fact too. I should have had his name here. Since you actually mentioned he didn't have that many lines, actually, kind of like all of Andy's toys, original toys, didn't have that much
mhm.
lines or like importance or activity in this movie. They were predominantly in the RV, and that was like it. Like the movie wasn't really about them
Yeah,
like
that
at
was
all.
that was yeah
It was kind of Buzz's story, not Buzz, Woody's story. Buzz helped a lot
yeah.
as he does.
Buzz did. Buzz was MVP. Nah, maybe not MVP. He did good
I
though.
think
Was he
Bo
MVP? I don't
isn't
know.
Bo Peep the MVP?
I feel as though Bo Peep has to be an MVP.
Yeah. And her
Yeah,
arm was
Buzz was
broken.
serviceable though. Her arm was broken. I forgot about that
Yeah,
part.
she held it down. Yes, our second I have 2 games for you. And the first game
Okay.
is a question game. And it was just
Hmm.
like I mean, you kind of said it already, but it was like why Toy Story is like your favorite. And I want to say you did hint on it, but still, if you had more you wanted to say.
No, it's pretty much the same thing. It pretty much defined my childhood, being as though the timeline in which it was released kind of went with the timeline of my life, such as 2010 was when I went to college. That's when Andy went to college. 95, that's when I was a kid. So
And you had some of like the similar toys that he had.
yeah, I had Woody and Buzz and Potato Head. I don't think I had. Oh, I had Rex too. I didn't have a Slinky
Did you
dog.
have like the green army toys?
Yeah, I did, but not for Toy Story. I just had them just
Oh,
because
yeah,
they
well, that's
was.
what I meant, like, did you have just in general, like, some of the toys Andy had? Like, I think he also had, like, the monkeys in the barrel or something like that, like
I had the monkeys in the barrel. Yes, I did, and I had the soldiers. I can't think of any other toys of his that I had. I didn't have the clapping. Well, that wasn't Andy's toy. But I didn't have that clapping monkey.
oh, I didn't like that. I didn't have it, but I didn't like that.
Yeah, he was wild.
So how would you rate the Toy Story movies from least favorite to most favorite?
Least favorite was Toy Story 2. So I can go in order. So from my least favorite is Toy Story 2. Number 4 would be Toy Story 2. Number 3 would be Toy Story 4.
Really?
Number 2 would be it'd be number 3. Only because I got probably had to see it more times. But Toy Story 4 gets the number 3 spot. Toy Story 1 gets the number 2 spot. And Toy Story 3 is my all time favorite Toy Story.
Why is it your all-time favorite?
Just like I said, like I keep reiterating, just the
Oh,
whole
because he was going to
coming to
college,
age
yeah.
thing. Yeah, the whole coming to age thing with Andy and with me, it just kind of resonated a whole lot.
Gotcha. That's so interesting. So my least favorite, yeah, would be Toy Story 2.
Very forgettable. I gotta watch it again
I
now. I
don't
think
think you're
about it.
gonna want to. Like, the fact that you also were supposed to watch it before this recording.
Yeah, I didn't get to it, but I went off memory.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah. So mine 4 would be Toy Story 2, then I probably would do Toy Story 3, actually. Um, yeah,
okay,
and
so the
then
same thing. Wait, no, no, no. What? Toy Story 3 number
yeah,
3?
like, I did like Bonnie a lot, but I think I enjoy Toy Story 4 more than Toy Story 3, even though I only saw it once. And then my Toy Story 1 would be my top. Um, I can see myself watching Toy Story 4 over. Just again, I was
Mm-hmm.
creeped out by the puppet guys, but I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
So why Toy Story 1 is your favorite?
Because it was the first one and just, like, at the time it came out and how how it had me really, like, trying to hide my toys so that they wouldn't get me in the night. And I was just, like, bugged out as a kid, like, I remember whispering to my mom in the kitchen because I thought that was a good distance from my toys, telling her telling her, like, we had to put them in the bin and, like, I had to put stuff over the bin because they could get out and to make sure they couldn't get out. Like, I was bugged out when Toy Story came out, but, it also just made me, like, wanna to play with my toys more. I'm pretty sure, like, I wrote my name at the bottom of my toy shoes,
Mm.
right? And I think it was just, like, a good time, and I think that the first movie just symbolizes so much of, like, my childhood, whatever, good feelings type of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. We had the we had the total opposite things for Toy Story 1. Like you was trying to hide your toys, I was trying to get mine to wake up and start doing stuff.
I was so and it's partially because I saw, like, Chucky around the same time too, like,
Yeah, that was
bad
wild.
babysitting, but I'm okay.
Oh, your babysitter had you watching
No,
Chucky?
my
That's
father, who was
hilarious.
babysitting me, had me watching Chucky. And exactly, that's exactly he was like I remember him telling my mom, like, she seemed fine, and I was as an adult, I'm telling my mom, like, I was being traumatized, like,
I was not
I
fine, Mom. I
I
was not
was
fine at
not, like, I
all. Oh,
was
that's
watching in
traumatized.
silence because I could not believe a toy would do some of the things that Chucky was doing.
And he thought, oh, she's taking
Yeah,
it
he's
very
like, "She's
well.
not crying, like, she's not anything." Meanwhile, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, when I get home, I have to pack my Cabbage Patch toys. That's the first toy that's going in a bin with, like, a dictionary on top of it." Like, meanwhile, my mom is like, "Why is she acting like this?" This is why you can't, like
That's exactly why.
I don't know, like, you gotta give dads rules, man, I guess, 'cause, like, they just are not paying attention, I don't know. Anywho, do you think there will be a 5th movie?
I honestly don't think so. I really don't.
Why?
I think it's gonna be more special than anything, like Thanksgiving specials, Christmas specials. I don't know if they had a Christmas special yet, but things like that, little mini
Yeah, they
shorts
I
or
don't think
something
they
like
had, a Christmas one yet. I think a Christmas one could be cool.
that.
So, you definitely think we'll see the gang again, though?
Yeah, we're gonna see the gang again. We have to.
Do you think there would be a possibility of, like, Woody and Bo Peep returning in these specials or no?
I don't think you can make another Toy Story without Woody in it. Even though he's gone on to bigger and better things, found the love of his life, I feel as though he's just so imperative to the franchise that they're gonna find some way to include him, even if it's a cut scene to what he's doing with Bo Peep at the moment.
That's real. Are there any
But I don't. It's not. I don't think it'll be centered around him.
okay, but, like, maybe, like, Rex is like, "Oh, I wonder what Woody's doing," and then it's, like, cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any characters that you feel like you could have done without in any movie?
Rex.
Really?
Rex was. Yeah, I don't know. Rex was just okay.
But
Um,
why?
I don't know. I don't really think he served that. He wasn't really that helpful to me. And then he has like 2 inch arms. And it's like, what's your use right now? His arms being small just held him back. I feel.
I thought I made a note of it, but a character I could have done without, I definitely think actually that Buzz's villain.
Zurg.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get his kind of like role or whatever in Toy Story 2, but he was kind of pointless for me. Yeah.
yeah. I wasn't a fan of Zurg. I wasn't a fan of that monkey on Toy Story 3.
That's the
He was
evil
just a little
monkey.
bit.
That was like a snitch.
Yeah, the snitch.
Mhm.
Well, I wasn't a fan of him. And the Toy Story 2, the guy that stole Woody, he was a
Oh,
creep,
Al.
like a real creep. Yeah, Al was a creep.
Nah, he was trying to make his money.
Nah, he was a creep.
Are there any characters that you'd want to see more of in the future?
I would love to see more of. I think I want to see more of Bonnie. I
Oh,
want to see
okay.
how she grows up, and she has such a big imagination for that for to be that young. So I just want to see if she maintains that growing up.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. A character I'd want to see more of. Low key, Gabby Gabby.
Really, you
Yeah,
want to see Gabby
not a
Gabby?
lot, but I ended up feeling really bad for her, and she got chosen, and I kinda just maybe a cutscene also to what's happening with Gabby Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would just like to see a little bit more of her. I definitely wanna see more of, what's it called? What's their names? Ducky and Bunny, 'cause
Oh yes, absolutely.
yeah, they are hilarious. They're definitely gonna put them in a special. Yeah,
They need to be in a
they
special.
will be for sure. It's probably, I don't know, maybe in front of, like, Frozen 2 or something like that. Uh
Oh yeah, Frozen 2 is. I have never seen Frozen 1.
I feel like
Random.
it's it's just kind of like culturally important in the sense that like all these kids and you work with kids have seen Frozen and
I
they
know,
sing the
right?
song, so like you kind of like have to see it.
Yeah, it's kind. I kind of do. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah, that's just it. I was highly against Frozen. Maybe I'll do an episode talking about maybe when Frozen 2 comes out, I'll do an episode talking about both of them because like I get it. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's like it was pretty like you could predict what was going to happen.
Mm,
So, anywho,
I believe it.
see it. I would like to know what you think when you see it. Earlier, my question was, did you own any of the Toy Story toys?
Oh yeah, so Potato Head, Woody. I had Buzz. I had Rex, even though I'm not the biggest fan of him.
Did you give him
I
away?
had. He probably ended up being a lost toy, so who knows where he's at right now. Oh, I had the aliens.
All right.
The aliens. I don't know why I haven't mentioned the aliens this whole
You
time. They was
didn't.
pretty cool. They thought Buzz was fall. Yeah, they thought Buzz was their father, so that was pretty fun.
Mhm.
I think those are all of. I gotta see. Yeah, that's all of them off the top of
Wait,
my
you had
head that I
Woody and
had.
Buzz?
Mhm.
And so I never had any of the toys. And that
None of them.
I'm pretty sure that was deliberate. That I was just scared, so I didn't want them.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah,
Um,
that is true.
but I did always want Woody though, so I could write my name underneath his shoe. And
I don't think I did that with mine. I
really,
might have.
how did you like not
Probably.
write your name under your toy shoes after Toy Story?
Exactly. I don't. I was tripping.
I
I was really tripping.
so I still want a Woody, and I might want one of the aliens. Even though I wasn't crazy about them as a kid, I just kind of like would want one to like put, I don't know, on a bookshelf or like a desk or something like that.
Mhm. I got
Um
a Funko Pop of them too.
yeah.
Alien. Mhm.
Is there a toy that
Oh, I also had Mrs. Nesbit.
what?
Remember when Buzz was Mrs. Nesbit
Oh yeah.
when he was at the tea party? Yeah, I got that too.
That's funny. A Funko Pop one? That's
Mhm.
funny. Is there a toy that you still want or that you always
I
wanted and
want
never
Slinky
got?
Dog now.
Oh, a Slinky?
Slinky.
A pop
Yes, I
one?
want, especially after this episode. No, I want the
The
toy.
actual toy.
Yeah, I want the actual toy.
Oh,
I'm about to go to Amazon.
I bet. I also would want a Jessie. If I get Woody, I would want a Jessie too, to a certain extent.
Jesse.
Yeah. One that yeah, I think that's it. I would totally get a plushie of Bullseye.
I love Bullseye too.
Yeah, I would get a stuffed Bullseye. But that's that. We have one more question game type of thing, right? So I know
Okay.
you're familiar with the whole one's gotta go, right?
Mhm.
So listeners, one's gotta go is very simple. It's exactly like what it sounds like. I'm gonna give him some options, and one of the options he has to say that they gotta go. They gotta get out of here. So the first one, we have Andy, Sid, and Al. One's gotta go.
Oh, Al.
Al.
He just gives me really, really bad creepy vibes.
He is creepy.
I wouldn't leave a kid around him.
Yeah, I was
Let's
about
put
to
it
say
like
like
that.
he's probably a person that they would confiscate his computer.
Yeah, I ain't want to say it, but
But that's kind of where you were going with it. Yeah, and he seems
that's exactly where I was going with it.
he seems a little dirty too. Like I remember like he would like I don't know, have like food kind of like all over him and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um
I'm good off here.
yeah. Next, one's got to go Bonnie, Molly, who's Andy's sister or Andy's mom.
I didn't expect these to be as hard as they were. Let's go with Miley. We'll go with Miley.
You're gonna
We didn't really learn much about. I mean, we didn't learn much about Andy's mom either, but she was driving him around and helping him out. So.
I mean, I feel like Molly was playing her part in being an annoying little sister. And Andy's mom was also
Yeah, she
doing
did
her
that well.
part in being like a mom and being like, Andy, you have to, put the toys that you want to keep here and put the toys that you don't want anymore here and stuff like that. But you would tell Andy's mom she's gotta go. No, you tell Molly she's gotta go.
No, I said Miley. She gotta go. Andy's mom's cool. Was she a single mom?
Yeah, it seems so.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, she held it
Do you
down.
want her backstory?
Not really.
Okay. Next, we have 4 now. Woody, Slinky, Buzz Lightyear, and Ham. We haven't mentioned Ham this whole episode.
Wow, we really haven't. Ham was cool. Ham was very cool.
Yeah.
But in this category, Ham is gone.
Ham's gotta go.
Ham is absolutely gone.
Jeez.
Yeah, Ham's gone.
For me,
Who would you take?
I was told I'm sorry. I was torn between Slinky and Ham. And hearing how much like you like Slinky makes me feel bad because I was really like trying to weigh the options. Like, who did I? I
I just
don't. Sorry.
no pressure. I just feel as though Slinky Dog's just amazing.
He is. I mean, I understand. Like you vouched for him very well. But now I remember him.
Like really powerful.
We haven't spoken about him the whole time, but I do remember enjoying his character. I thought he was pretty funny.
He was.
I feel bad we didn't mention him. Yeah, I think I don't know. What if I say that they both can go? So-
Oh my god.
okay. Ham's gone.
Okay, phew.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
next. Well, I know your answer now. It would be Rex, Bo Peep, the aliens, or Mr. Potato Head.
Rex.
Yeah, because
I can do without him. Yeah, I can do
you're
without him.
discriminating against the fact that he has short arms.
He's just not useful in the war with Toy's face. He's just not useful.
He's not. I
And then he's a soft dinosaur. How you a dinosaur and you soft? Like, come on now.
because he's showing that all dinosaurs aren't the same.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, we definitely learned that. But he did bag Trixie, so shout out to him for that.
Wow. I would send Mr. Potato Head packing.
Really? You didn't like Mr. Potato
Not
Head like that?
really. I never owned one. I don't think I really played with one as a child. I was really, really obsessed with dinosaurs as a kid. So I would keep Rex.
Oh,
Yeah. Like, do you remember the show Dinosaurs?
no.
That's making me feel old. I'm not that much older than you. But there was a show called Dinosaurs. It probably looks crazy if you were trying to look it up. I'll send you like the theme song for it or whatever. But I had the toys from that show, like, and I love Ninja Turtles. Like, I was very much into that type of, I don't know, programming, if you will. So
Yeah, I love Ninja Turtles too.
I would keep Rex.
Michelangelo, my favorite one.
Yeah, mine too. And next, Jesse, Bullseye, tour guide Barbie, or Wheezy, Andy's toy penguin that couldn't squeak anymore.
Oh, Wheezy was fire too. I loved Wheezy. I really love Wheezy. And his whole little singing part at the end of Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2
Mm-hmm.
was great. But I will get rid of Barbie.
Valid.
Yeah, I mean, I never played with Barbies, so I had no attachments to her whatsoever.
I did play with Barbies a lot, but I like penguins. So,
Yeah, I love Penguin.
um,
My second favorite,
right,
second
Barbie
favorite
would be
animal.
the one that had to go for me. So next I have Lutzo, Lotso, whatever. Ken,
Yeah, lots of hugging.
Big Baby, or Chuckles.
Ooh, okay. I'm leaning towards Big Baby because Big Baby was really creepy as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Mm-hmm.
He was really a big baby, like really big for his age. So that was also another thing. I don't know. I like Lotso. I think he was a really good villain.
Yeah, I think he was probably one of the best villains in the franchise, right?
He might be the best villain in the franchise. Sid was kind of wild though, so
What?
I don't know.
Oh, Sid.
Sid,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, excuse me. I agree with you.
So
I would get rid of Big Baby, but Ken was a close second for me.
yeah, the only thing that held him on was he has infinite amount of drip,
That's
and
funny.
I aspire to be like that.
Yeah, I just found him to be a tad bit annoying. That's just probably a personal problem. So I have two more. His name is Mr. Pricklepants. That's Bonnie's hedgehog. Trixie.
Oh, okay, I like him.
Yeah,
Okay.
Trixie, who's Bonnie's dinosaur. Buttercup, who's Bonnie's unicorn, and Dolly, who was Bonnie's ragdoll.
Mm, she had a vast amount of toys. Like had a variety of toys.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Dolly because that's the only one I don't really remember. The rag doll. You said Dolly. Dolly from Toy Story.
You you
Oh,
googling her?
I did like Dolly actually. Yeah, I had to Google her. I did like Dolly. Can you give me the choices again?
Okay, Mr. Pricklepants, that's the hedgehog.
Okay.
Trixie, Buttercup, who's the unicorn, the stuffed unicorn, and Dolly.
I'm gonna stick with Dolly. She
Yeah.
was a good leader
um, I would send her packing too.
though. Dolly.
Yeah, because I thought I liked the hedgehog. I said that earlier. I thought he was kind of funny with his little
I
Shakespeare,
really like her.
and I love unicorns. So I actually would want that toy myself. Now I think about it. And Trixie was funny, and she's a dinosaur.
She was.
So the doll will have to go. Last one, Forky, Gabby, Ducky Bunny. They're together, or Giggle McDimples. That's the little cop lady.
Giggle McDimples.
In Toy Story 4, that's
Uh,
the little cop lady that was with Bo Peep.
oh, oh, she has a very nice name too as well. But I'm gonna go. I don't know. Forky wasn't not. I'm gonna go Giggle McDimples
Really? You,
because I wasn't a fan of Forky, but in this situation, I definitely let Giggle McDimples out of here.
you
Giggle
you
McDimples
thought
out of
this was gonna be like a walk in the park? These ones gotta
here. I
go.
really did. I really did. I thought it was gonna be easier than this.
No, thank you. I really did put some thought into these. Like, I tried to make them themed by movie, themed by Bonnie's toys, people.
No,
For
you did a really good job with this one
Thank
because
you.
yeah, these ones is actually hard.
I think
Giggle
from this
McDimples.
group, I thought Giggle McDimples was pretty funny, and I had a toy like her.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's based off of like Polly Pocket. Do you remember hearing that before?
That name that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, like if you used to watch what
Polly
you did,
Pocket.
Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, her commercials were on all the time.
Oh yeah, I do remember them.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I do remember them.
so I feel like some personal attachment to her.
Hmm.
Sheesh. I guess I would say Gabby Gabby, even though I'd want to see more of her, but she's still creepy with the
Yeah,
whole
she
like
was.
blinking eyes type of thing like that. Um,
Yeah, that was your girl though. You
I would
said you
want to
liked
see
her.
more of her, but I feel like a nostalgic connection to Giggle McDimples.
Okay, I can take that.
That's what's happening here. But that concludes the episode. That concludes this segment about Toy Story. And thank you for joining me and
Oh
talking
dang, it's
about
over
this.
already.
What?
I said it's over already. I had 2 more hours with it today. But nah, I do I do appreciate it. This was mad dope.
Yeah, I
This was
think it's
fun.
been fun. I think thank you for the listeners. After this, I do have some animation news, so don't turn off the podcast. But I'm gonna let our guests go first before I get into all that stuff. And again, if you guys like this, then I will definitely bring more friends on to talk about different shows and movies and things like that. So let's hope that
Let's hope they like
let's
it.
hope that you
Let's
did
hope
a
I
good
did a good
job.
job.
And they say don't bring any more friends on your show.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so thank you again, and I shall be talking to you soon. Now it's time for our animation news recap. As reported on Cartoon Brew, this 25-year-old animator created his own feature film. I'm going to butcher his last name, but it's going to be in the show notes. It's Gintz Zilbaldos. Zilbaldos. Yeah, Gintz Zilbaldos. He created an animated feature film. It's about 75 minutes long. It was in a screening competition at Animfest, and it was it showed at Annecy. So it took over 3.5 years to complete. He didn't have a script or storyboards. Instead, he discovered the story largely from editing together rough animations that were done in Maya. Also in the show notes, I'd have a link to the trailer. Deadline reported that there will be a CG animated SpongeBob spin-off. It's going to be a prequel to the SpongeBob cartoon that most of us grew up with and have grown to know. Maybe you love it. I don't think you can deny SpongeBob's like cultural impact. It introduces a 10-year-old SpongeBob SquarePants during his summer at sleepaway camp. The working title for the show is Camp Coral. That's going to be the camp where he stays at. SpongeBob and his pals spend the summer building underwater campfires, catching wild jellyfish, swimming in Lake Yucky Muck at the craziest camp in the kelp forest, which is Camp Coral. As they said, it's going to be CG animated, and I'm just hoping that since they're going to do this and change the medium, well, the style is the animation is the medium, but they're changing the style, making it CG when SpongeBob is 2D with CG elements. I hope that they stick with the SpongeBob like the out of water style, that 3D style. I know that's pretty like high if it's feature film, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna just outsource it. But I hope that they can stay a bit closer to that. Next, we have on Twitter, see what's next. That's news about Netflix US by Netflix from the inside. It was reported that Love, Death, and Robots will be back. So you remember a couple episodes I recapped about 3 to 4. I still didn't finish the anthology now I think about it, so I have to finish that. However, yes, Love, Death, and Robots will be back. Jennifer Yuh Nelson has joined on as supervising director for Volume 2 and will oversee all episodes. So if you listen to the episode, if you haven't, I'm going to tell you one of the comments I made was that you can tell that, at least from the films that I watched, that they were done by men and they were definitely catering to the male gaze. And even though there were female characters, the characters weren't vehicles for storytelling. They were definitely like props. They were interchangeable. I feel like you could have put any woman in this position. I feel like you could have even put like inanimate objects to be here, or maybe like like robots. This is called Love, Death, and Robots. You could have really put in anything in place for the women characters, and it wouldn't have made a difference in the story at all for like the most part. Even one story which was about an exotic dancer, and it was a female exotic dancer. It could have easily been an alien exotic dancer. It could have been a male exotic dancer. Like there was nothing really telling to the audience that if that anything was created by a woman or like had woman audience members in mind. So I like hearing the fact that a woman would be joining as a supervisor director, and I'm hoping that there'll be a bit more variety. Love, Death, and Robots is adult animation, and one thing I did talk about was that adult animation doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be a whole bunch of gore and it needs to be very hypersexual. So there should be some balance. Like you have some of that, fine. Like it is what it is, but there should definitely be a bit more balance to that. Like adult animation also just means just like subject matter and the way we tell certain stories. Like you wouldn't showcase that to children because the subject matter would be too heavy and not necessarily about it visually being too graphic, right? So, anywho, Jennifer is a Korean American director and storyboard artist. She's the director of Kung Fu Panda 2, Kung Fu Panda 3, and The Darkest Minds. She's the first woman to solely direct an animated feature film from a major Hollywood studio. I also have Warner Brothers Home ENT tweeted a trailer for the new Teen Titans Go movie. With this movie, there's a multiverse where the OG Teen Titans, which are my favorites, are summoned to the Teen Titans Go dimension and they end up having to work together to stop a villain. So I don't watch Teen Titans Go. I've heard good things about it, but I am so like loyal to Teen Titans OG that I just can't really bring myself to watch Go. I have seen clips and I have enjoyed the clips I watch, but I would definitely be watching this Teen Titans Go movie. The link to the trailer will also be in the show notes. So this is like long gone now. However, Gallery Nucleus, which is in California, had an Into the Spider-Verse art show. And if you don't know, now you know. Spider-Verse is like my favorite animated film of all time. I think it's safe to say that it's just so good. And I've talked about it all the time and I always talk about it all the time. So there it was called What's Up Danger, the Into the Spider-Verse tribute show. It was from June 29th through July 13th. They had an opening reception online. You could have purchased limited edition prints. By the time I caught wind of it, I was like, oh, the one that I wanted was sold out. And, like I said, it was limited edition. So, Gallery Nucleus, in partnership with Grey Matter, we're proud to present an official tribute exhibition for Spider Man Into the Spider Verse. I wished that. I still do wish that this could be a traveling exhibition and it could find its way to New York City so I can go. The prints and art were made in tribute to the film. So exhibition highlights was original work, included the artist roster of selected artists who contributed to the film. They had a book signing and they encouraged cosplaying. The last two things I have here on the Spies in Disguise trailer. Blue Sky released another one. It looks very, very good. I was so happy to see. I have said this already on the show. I worked in the storyboard department at Blue Sky Studios. So it was really, really dope seeing the storyboards that the artist had worked on that those scenes made it into the trailer, but hopefully ultimately made it into the film. That was just like really dope, because just remembering the meetings and when the artists were brainstorming or when they got kicked off on their assignments, and how many times some of them had to go back and like do a joke or a gag over, or had to kind of clean up the camera angle or the staging or whatever sorts of stuff. And just to see that they got it and it made its way into the trailer, and like I said, hopefully into the film, that was just kind of really dope. And they've started to post the comparisons, comparing their storyboards to the trailer, and it's just been really dope. I'm name dropped like John Jackson. He's been posting that on Instagram, and I just been really happy for him, because I remember, yeah, when he was just getting kicked off and all that stuff. There was also the Mulan live action trailer dropped, and there was like a bit of like a uproar on the internet about it, because Mushu's not in it, Shang's not in it, and it was seemingly different than the animated version. But thankfully, the Chinese community of Twitter were saying that, this time around, Disney is going to make it more true to the story, and I guess a bit more true to the culture. So that's why these characters are not a part of it. And so a bunch of us were just like, oh, okay, we understand. Like, of course, we wanted it to be closer to the animated version. However, if the animated version wasn't that accurate, then, excuse me, then they should definitely do it over and do it better in terms of the storytelling and being culturally appropriate. So to me, I'm definitely like, Mulan was one of my favorites when it dropped. I'm pretty sure partially because of like I did enjoy the Mushu character and because of the music. But seeing the live action, I'm just like, yeah, I want to see now how it's gonna be told. I'm really into the lead character. I should find out her name, the lead actress. I'm just really excited for it, with all the, which I'm gonna get into too. But with all the live action remakes that in particular Disney is doing, this is probably the only one besides Beauty and the Beast that I'm like legit looking forward to, and seems to be like the most dynamic one. That's all the animation news that I have for now. At the time of this recording, San Diego Comic Con is wrapping up. They dropped so many bombs. I'm going to have to catch up and read some of this stuff. And from what can apply, I will mention it in my next episode. One thing I can say, or I will say now, is that I saw Rebecca Sugar. They released or announced the Steven Universe movie, so I'm excited about that. If you don't know, which you probably don't, I watched Steven Universe in Spanish. So when I saw the movie for the trailer, it really was throwing me off because I'm not used to the English American voices at all. And I know Estelle is the voice of Garnet, and like I've barely heard her as Garnet. So I am thinking I may have to restart watching Steven Universe in English just to make sure I'm all caught up and not missing any information that, I'm practicing my Spanish. That's why I watch it in Spanish, but I want to make sure I'm not missing any details due to like language translation. So I probably would do that. But I'm excited for that. But anywho, yeah, the next episode I'm gonna cover a bit more of the news and stuff that came out of San Diego Comic Con. I think that's about it. So thank you for listening. Thank you to my guest for joining me and talking about Toy Story. Like he said, Toy Story is like his top favorite like animated franchise, trilogy, all that sort of stuff of all time. So I that's why, as I said too, that I felt that he was a really good person to talk about this movie. If you liked me bringing just a friend on, a person who's not in the industry, to talk about animation, let me know. I'm figuring out technology, and I would like to have more people come on and talk about just some like maybe Saturday morning cartoons, or like for instance like Sailor Moon, how many like iterations the Sailor Moon versus like Sailor Moon Crystal, which I still forgot that I needed to catch up on, and just kind of have some of these conversations and enjoy ourselves and not always be so kind of like, I mean, we're talking about animation, so how serious, we're going to be serious, but like we still want to have a good time and enjoy ourselves, and I want you guys to enjoy the conversations that I'm having as well. But like I said, if you enjoyed it, you want to let me bring more people on, let me know. So my next episode, I'm going to be talking about these Disney live action remakes. I want to know your thoughts. Tweet me, DM me on Instagram or Twitter. Send me an email if that's what you want to do, and I will read your comments on the next episode. If you send me an email, just put the name that you want me to refer to you as in the email. The movies I'm going to be talking about are Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, and The Jungle Book. I'm going to be talking about basically the animated versions versus the live action remakes. So if you have any thoughts and feelings and concerns about them independently or them as a whole, definitely let me know so that, I can have your comments ready for when I record the next episode. Again, my name is Monique. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Simply Robotics, SIMPLYROBOTIX. If you're listening on iTunes or the podcast app on the iPhone, review the podcast, rate the podcast. If you're not, I would appreciate you just, telling a friend or posting about the podcast on your social media, resharing a post, retweeting a tweet, anything like that. Have I covered everything? I think so. So thank you again, and until next time, bye.